I got this from Walmart. When you see it, don't be trying to go to Walmart and copy and get your own mug. But like when you be, what I'm saying, sitting here, you be got some brand name stuff or you got something that's on your video and people be trying to copy. I don't care. Go ahead and get the mug, but always recognize who had it first. It was at Walmart. But anyway, this is Alacad, you know what I'm saying, coming through. Always at the start and the beginning. Holography, the whole writing of the arts and sciences as one educational discipline. You know what I'm saying? Alacad, put up the banner here. Set the website holographer.com slash the hyphen book. Don't be afraid to, what I'm saying, get into something new, something progressive. You know what I mean? Putting it all together. Even if you've heard of things that are in this book, I'm pretty sure you never seen how they are put together this way. You know what I'm saying? It's all about putting it all as one thing, looking for the thread that ties all things together, including occultism, spirituality, and all those things that are adjacent to it. So definitely get this book. Let it be in your library. See the blue on it? It's blue. You want blue in your home library. You know what I'm saying? Picture that just mingling with your other books. You know what I'm saying? It's just that blue. Then you got the black and the white. And that's just the aesthetic. You got to get into the literature though. You know what I'm saying? So that you can see things not in a fragmented way, but in a way in which all things are one. So just putting that up there. But today, excuse me, we're going to focus on, you know what I'm saying, twin flames, soulmates, other halves. We're going to focus on that today. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as I've been in, dealing with the conscious community and, dealing with new ager stuff, you know what I'm saying? Spirituality, all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? 10 years in, you know what I'm saying? Go over 10 years of, just kind of being adjacent to it, surrounded by it, dealing with people that's in the group think and all that stuff. The concept of, sex, marriage, dating is always mingled in with that. You know what I'm saying? You got men, you got women, you got fluid people, you know what I'm saying? They fluid. That's what they said they was. You got that going on. So when you come out of, I guess, dealing with the world, I guess, like, just being a regular person, doing regular things, you went to school with certain people, you college with them, you work with them, you met them at the club, you met them at the bar. They're friends of the family, they're friends of someone, and you mingle with these people, like as far as like a dating situation or even going towards sex, you know what I'm saying? Um, you're not really thinking of destiny. You're not thinking of arrangement. You're not thinking of, is this spiritually correct for me to do? Unless, of course, you're one of those Christian dudes and dudettes. You know what I'm saying? Dudette is female for dude. Dudes and dudettes who, they was in the church and, that was sort of an arranged thing. You know what I mean? Because you maybe your parents put you with this person like on some coming to America thing where your marriage was arranged. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're a Christian, everybody always looking at you weird. Because that was me back in, say I had did the Christian thing for like what 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Because of a failed relationship that I thought Jesus was going to help me mend. So I went over to him and them, him and them, to kind of like restructure that and bring the woman back to me. You know what I'm saying? Didn't work, by the way, but of course not. But you're the weird one out because everybody in the in the Christian thing, most of them are married or engaged to be married. You know what I'm saying? So you the odd one out. You like if you ain't got no woman or nothing, or you ain't got no man if you're a woman. But coming into the conscious thing, it's like you kind of revisit that whole marriage thing in another way. Like for example, I really wasn't keen on any type of like especially no polygamy or anything like that, or even polyamory. Wasn't into any of those things. I didn't really look into it until I got into the conscious community thing, where these is willy-nilly dudes and dudettes. Like they, I remember seeing a page where the woman had two dudes at the table. You know what I'm saying? She had two dudes at the table. You know what I mean? Two dudes. And they looked happy as hell. They looked like they was gelling. They was jamming and gelling. You know what I mean? jamming and gelling. Remember that commercial with the gel souls? It's like, are you gelling or are you mud gelling? They was mud gelling at that table. You know what I'm saying? So all three of them were, you know what I'm saying, okay with, two dicks and a vagina in that. You know what I'm saying? Two dicks and a pussy and all that. You know what I mean? They all had smiles on their face, you know? And like I said, that's my first time really seeing something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because in the mundane, it's just like, you deal with one person at a time, or, you know what I'm saying? You probably got a side joint, you know what I mean? But when you get into the conscious thing, the marriage thing or the dating thing becomes, it's looked at a different way now, because you're supposed to be this person that, your dieting has changed, your lingo changed, the way you dress, you going back to Africa or whatever type of ideology you're supporting or whatever, you know what I mean? So dating comes up, it pops up. You know what I'm saying? How should we approach dating according to that ideology? Like if you in the Kemetic thing, how should it be approached? If you in the Hebrew Israelite thing, how should it be approached? If you in the whole Moorish science temple, how do y'all deal with marriage and dating? You know what I'm saying? How do you do it? Now dealing with the occult, what's the occult meaning of marriage? So now we get into a theme or like an old concept that's alchemical, very old, very ancient, known as hieros gamos or hierogamy, which is literally, it literally means sacred marriage. Now, how does this relate to twin flames and soulmates and soul mating? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people out here soul mating. They're not soul mating, they're just savage sexery. It's you putting on, the ankh and the, what I'm saying, kufi, or what I'm saying, the fez or whatever. You still like doing the nasty shit you was doing before you was conscious, but now there's a raw necklace around. Now you got crystals in your bra. You know what I'm saying? So when I took the John bra off, a few hematites and rose quartz dropped out. Oh, I didn't know you had that next to your titty. You got sacred breasts. I like that. But anyway, dating becomes something to be discussed, right? Because you got men and women coming together. You know what I'm saying? They uniting under, learning about ancient history, learning about spirituality, learning about cult subjects and crystals and you know what I'm saying, pro blackness. You know what I mean? Even in that situation, you're dealing with people that's, pretty much in this conscious community, you get caught with a white man or a white woman, you know what I'm saying? You're going to look down. Ain't nobody going to respect you. You know what I'm saying? Because this is like that Sankofa thing. You're going back to Africa. You're going back to your roots. Why would you bring the white person or anybody outside of the black thing into this Sankofa thing, right? But getting back to what we're really talking about is the twin flame and the soulmates. So yeah, maybe like around 2012, 2013, 14 or whatever. There was for me like, looking online, going to different YouTube videos or whatever, looking at websites where you had different new agers trying to tell you what is twin flame, what is soulmate. How do you know, excuse me, you found your soulmate? How do you know you found your twin flame or your other half? You know what I'm saying? Now that you found your other half, you know what I'm saying? That song by the Delphonics, you know what I'm saying? Stop, look, and listen. You have found love. You know what I'm saying? Could have been an R&B singing back in the day. Stop and look, and you have found love. You know what I'm saying? High pitched voice dude it's always a high pitched dude voice in one of those, them golden oldie soul bands or whatever, like the Temptations, or you know what I'm saying? High voice. Then you got the baritone. You have found love. You know what I'm saying? It's always that. You know what I'm saying? That's what keeps those groups balanced. But just looking at these websites and these people trying to explain to you what is a soulmate relationship or what is a twin flame relationship or whatnot, and having experienced all of that outside of what they were saying, some of that's correct. Most stuff is incorrect. A lot of these people don't really know what it means, to what a twin flame actually means or what a soulmate actually is. So you got to kind of deal with experiential learning, to kind of like decipher what it all means. Because then you can go back to these, websites and these videos and be like, nope, you're wrong. You kind of right with that one. Nah, you're not right. Because it's them trying to tell you what it is instead of you actually going through the experience to see exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I had the privilege and the luxury and the honor to actually go through the experience of what these two things are. You know what I'm saying? I had that luxury. And like I said, it wasn't all butterflies and rainbows. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that right now. So if you ever go into these websites where they try to tell you what a soulmate is or what a twin flame or other half is, though, if they sitting here trying to romanticize it or overly like, like over romanticizing, like acting like there's no um there's no dark periods or no darkness that surrounds that, then I'm saying 10 times out of 10, they not being accurate and truthful with what that is. So what I want to do right now is focus on one word that kind of really tells you exactly what the twin flame is, what I'm saying, and maybe we'll deal with the soulmate thing later on. But hold on, let me share my screen here. So I got this pulled up. So this is a online etymology dictionary, which is one of the top etymology dictionaries, obviously on the internet. And we have this word right here, which is key to the understanding. This word, Reincham. That word, syzygy, is highly important, not just in two people meeting in a destined way, but also there's something is also involved in astrology. It's also involved in biology or in microbiology, to be more exact. So syzygy is a conjunction or an opposition of a heavenly body with the sun. So that would be the astrology part of it. And then dealing with, it's a late Latin word, syzygia, you know what I'm saying? Syzygia from Greek syzygia, yoke of animals, pair, union, to conjunction, from syzygian, which is the yoke together. Now that word, the key word in this syzygy word is yoke. So you probably heard yoke together, or you got soul ties or stuff like that when you was in the church or whatever. Because I heard about soul ties, dealing with the church, where if you're going to be saved or baptized or whatever, you got to clean yourself of the soul ties of all the people you was juicing before you got in the congregation. You know what I'm saying? So you was of the world, you was juicing many men, you know what I'm saying, or many women, depending on your gender and your sexuality, because I guess there's a difference in today's world. And you had to cut those ties, you know what I'm saying? You had to cut them. You know what I'm saying? With scissors in your hands, bitch the RZA. You got to cut them. You know what I'm saying? So, and that would purify you so that you can then go get baptized and be a born again Christian or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Though they are correct in one way, they're not going the full, you know what I'm saying? They're not going all the way with it. But yoke is a very important word because it also goes back to biology. Now, what does it mean by what I mean by the biology? So the moment when your father's sperm cell collided with your mother's egg cell and fertilized that egg, it became what is called a zygote. Look it up. Zygote. 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 That is your first piece of incarnation. That's the starting point of your incarnation, is that zygote. So look at you physically now. Like they say you got trillions of cells that make up your whole physical constitution, right? You got brain cells, blood cells, stem cells, skin cells, saliva cells, or what's the cheek cell, hair. You got all types of cells. But where was the origin point of all these cells that made you into this multicellular being or this entity? It started with the zygote, sperm cell, your father, um, egg cell of your mother, sperm and ovum, which is egg, joined together, hit the uterine wall, mitosis started, and then over a period of 9 to 10 months, you popped out. So this concept of syzygy goes back to this where you started when you first became that zygote in your mother's womb. You know what I'm saying? In your mother's womb. Why is this important? Because when you started dividing in cells, like your cells started to divide and it became 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 5, 12, 1024, and so on and so forth. Along that route, the whole stitching or spinning of your narrative in the physical was being spun. And in that narrative, you was either going to be male, female, or hermaphrodite. One of those three. Most people are women, then it's men, then it's the, say hermaphrodite, where it's, that's a very rare case of, a baby being born with, penis in the vagina. So for the most part, let's just deal with men and women, right? You're either going to be male or female, right? Now, there are some research that says we're all female, and then some of us, got the what I'm saying, the X chromosome. Is it X or Y? I keep forgetting. You got that chromosome from your father, and that turns you into a dude. So, you got people out here believing that, your penis it was really a vagina turned outward or something like that. And your ball sack, your nuts is the ovum, or your what was it called? Your egg sacs turned into nut sacs. So egg became nut. You know what I'm saying? Right there in the womb. You know what I mean? And there's even, excitement around, if your mother was pregnant, or any mother being pregnant, trying to find out what the sex is of the baby. Is it going to be a man, or excuse me, a male or female? It's going to be a boy or girl. You know what I'm saying? You even got a culture of, and I know they making money, where, what I'm saying, you got these gender reveal parties. So I know they got gender reveal party planners. You know what I'm saying? I know they making buku. They making money doing that. Now, why is this important to the discussion of twin flames or soul mating? Is because whatever gender you was not going to be, that piece is somewhere existing in someone else in this world. Yes. Because if you're going to be the male in your mother's womb, what about the female part of you? Right? That just goes away? Because you had the potential to be either or even both. But for most of us, you either came out as a boy or you came out as a girl. So if you came out as a boy, what happened to the girl part? If you came out as a girl, what happened to the boy part? It doesn't exist. Like it just fades away, like it just disappears. And nope, it stays with you to the day you die and going beyond. Now, getting back to the word syzygy, now we understand what it really means. So what syzygy is concerned with is the true marriage, or the hierogamos. You marrying your like the opposite gender that you was not going to be. So for example, if you was going to be a boy, so syzygy for you is getting back into that feminine side that you were never going to be. For a girl, getting in, marrying that boy side of you that you was never going to be, right? Now you have people doing this thing in an artificial way. Like for example, with the whole trans thing, with people, being of a fluid gender. That's a way to attack it, but that's not the way that it's actually done. That's not the alchemical spiritual way that you do that. That's a physical way. So for example, me taking my penis, because I was dumb before. I thought that they cut your dick off and then they make a hole. No. See, what they do is they take your dick and they slit it and they push it back up into you. So if you're having sex with trans, you're really kind of hitting the dick on that trans one. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought they just it's cut off and be thrown in the woods and never, or maybe you can sell it to someone. You know what I'm saying? Who needs one? Why would you just throw it away? You can sell that dick to someone who needs it. You know what I'm saying? What if somebody got castrated, or there's an accident with their genitals, and you're just gonna cut off your dick and just throw it away? No, give it, donate it, sell it. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to just throw it away. But anyway, you have to deal with that gender that you did not become or did not come out of your womb as. So again, if you're a boy, you still have to deal with that girl that you could have potentially been. If you're a girl, you still have to deal with that boy you could have potentially been coming out of the womb. It does not escape you. It does not go anywhere. It's right there within you. Now, the question is, does that other half of you stay dormant throughout the rest of your life, or does it activate? Does it come alive? Does it do what it do? Now we're getting into the understanding of twin flame. So your twin is actually your true twin is someone who is the female version of you if you are the man, or the male version of you if you are the woman. Because again, you had the potential to be one or the other. You chose one over the other, right? So what happens to the one you don't choose? What happens? See, now you're going to come against all these events in your life where you're going to face a reflection of the man you aren't, or the woman that you are not, or that you could have been. So for me, I'm a dude. I am going to confront, maybe in this lifetime, maybe in another one, the woman that I could have been if I chose to be a girl in my mother's womb. And vice versa for that woman. If she came out a girl, she's going to face somehow, some way, that man or that boy that she did not become in the womb. She has to confront him. She has to face him. She has to see him in some way or some form. Now, I'm not totally sure if every person gets to see this other half of themselves in another person in this in their incarnation, but I'm pretty sure they get to see the semblance or the image of them. Like for example, you can see the image if you're a woman, you can see the image of your other half, your male half, in perhaps an actor in a movie. You know what I'm saying? Or someone you saw on TV. You know what I mean? And that's your other part of you directing you or putting things in place so that you can recognize this other part of the sex that you did not become. Now, granted, like I said, I didn't really believe in twin flames for a moment, like especially coming into the conscious thing. I was like, why would you ever be yoked to somebody that you don't even know? Like you never met them, you never, up until you do meet them, like you never met them, you don't know their name, you wouldn't know where to find them. There's no one directing you to that other person. You know what I'm saying? Because I stopped believing. Like, I've read some of these new age, conscious websites where they talk about twin flames and that type of thing. But you know what I'm saying? I didn't believe it. It's like, how could that be? Until it happened. Whoa, until it happened, baby. Woo. Until it happened. Woo. Until it became a thing. And when it became a thing, it was explosive. It was mind blowing. When it happened, I'm like, oh shit, wow. But here's the thing. Even if you're trying to get ready for a twin flame relationship with someone that you believe that that's who they are, doesn't mean that they are going to be ready for it. No, doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that you're going to be together with that person either. Because, like I said, in my experience, I had the honor and the privilege to know who it is. Because this is the thing, I don't know what all these websites are saying. You know what I'm saying? They say some wild shit that don't even make sense. And I'm not even sure my twin flame experience is going to be like everyone else's. Like, for example, you watching this, I don't know if your twin flame experience or your ride is going to be like mine. But I am here to like just kind of give you some things that I kind of witnessed. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, you can be around your twin flame and not even know it until it's time to be revealed. So, for example, your twin flame could be somebody that you went to school with, somebody you work with, somebody that's been close to like a family friend, like your family, their family. It could be that. Nigga, it could even be somebody you meet on social media. Yes. Somebody that you met on social media. Because I know in this time of, internet, dating has been overrun by the internet. There's a lot of y'all with plenty of fish and Christian mingle, Islamic mingle. So they got a mingle for every religion. You know what I'm saying? If you're a Hebrew Israelite, I'm probably sure they got an app where Hebrew Israelite women and men can meet each other and date. Tinder, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You know what I mean? eHarmony, which was kind of like the first one, where you had this, old white dude acting like he was an expert on matching people together. So he put up this website where, he's matching this man with this woman and this woman with this man or whatever. And then you get the Plenty of Fish, which is these are some apps where you can, it's strictly about dating. It's like an Instagram of dating before even Instagram was even invented, or Facebook. You know what I'm saying? You had the eHarmony, but you had the Tinder came through where you can swipe through people and trying to feed into your vanity, look for a woman or a man who's sexually attractive, not even if they're incompatible with you in other areas of your life. You know what I'm saying? So with the twin flame, like the situation I was dealing with, somebody I met online didn't know it was going to turn out the way it turned out. I'm like, oh, because here's the thing. If you know about synchronicity, right? Everybody's talking about that, like how you see numbers all the time. Like you see 1 1 11 11, saying 12, like you see in 1 2 3 4 in the back of license plates and signs and things that come across your TV screen. Like you see those synchronicities. Let me tell you, when it comes to the twin flame thing, that synchronicity shit will jump in degree where it's like there is no denial of who this person is to you based on the synchronicities that you're seeing and the omens that you're seeing. Because synchronicity is also, in the realm of the omen, which you're seeing like a spiritual sign that's trying to tell you something. You know what I'm saying? And when I tell you, when it came to this person, all types of synchronistic signs came and omens just, it's to this day, my bro, my sis, to this day, I keep seeing signs and omens pointing to what this twin flame thing is. There's no way to turn it off. There's no way to get around it. There's no way you can go all the way to Japan. You can go all the way to Antarctica. You're still going to see signs that is going to show you that stuff. Thing is, not everyone is going to accept that. So, for example, you can know that this person is actually your other half. However, he or she could be in denial of it, even if he or she is also getting those omens. Yes, because it's like surprising people. It's like you're being shown something that you may not be ready to see. It's just like, for example, if you're in a relationship right now and you know your girl or your dude is cheating on you, are you ready to see those text messages, those emails? Are you ready to find that phone you know nothing about? Are you ready to walk in on them doing a 69 on the bed? Are you ready to see your wife or husband doing that? No, you ain't. Who is ready? Who's ever ready for that? Anything like that? It's shocking. It's traumatizing. You feel me? It's a headbanger. You know what I mean? Like, it's a headbanger. You know what I mean? It's like that. Or at least, like I said, I'm going to limit it to my experience. I don't know if that's going to be what you're going to do or what other people other people experiencing or have experienced or will. I don't know. But I immediately knew that that person was the other half. It was undeniable. Even there's times where you're like, nah, I don't believe that. That's all coincidence. But when is any of this shit mere coincidence? Even outside of the whole twin flame thing, like having you come across synchronicities and omens telling you something. You know what I'm saying? In fact, that's how you should be living your life. That's how I would direct you and how you lead. And I've said this in previous videos. Follow that intuition. Follow those omens. What you mean? This is the whole spirit thing communicating to you. You know what I'm saying? It also ties into the whole character line thesis. If any of you remember that, then what I was dealing with that, I had a whole document with that, which is a part of my Doth Star Legacy thing, which you need to, I'm saying, if you want to get into those videos, you can either if not the video, I do have the character line thesis in my book here. I think it's what chapter is it in? Yeah, it's chapter 21 in this book. They're dealing with the character line thesis Or like I said, you can also sign up for my Patreon. See that scrolling around at the bottom of the screen now? See that, my nigga? Get into that. Keter tier, and the Keter tier. I have a Doff tier and a Keter tier, and then if you get into the Keter tier, that's where you get all my Doff Star Legacy videos, where I was, all those videos I took down from my page. But anyway, just dealing with that too. Understanding people coming into your life and the relationships that you form. Like, these are all reflections of who you are and aspects of who you are. Relation is reflection. You are only in relationships so that they reflect an aspect or the full part of who you are. Now, when it comes to this twin flame thing, that's where it becomes very direct, where that twin flame or that other half is a direct reflection of who you are, a direct one. Because now we can start talking about soulmates, because soulmates would be a reflection of you too, but not a direct one. Your most direct reflection would be your twin flame, and all the other reflections, all the other relationships can be potential soulmates. Because now the soulmate thing is where, this may be people or a person where, you're going to share soul, you're going to be together in some way or fashion. You know what I'm saying? It could be a family member, can be a soulmate. Your father, your mother can be a soulmate. Your best friend, like your best bro. You know what I'm saying? All y'all three together, y'all soulmates in that sense. You know what I'm saying? Even like your failed relationships. So for example, whoever you broke up with, you may have married them, y'all got a divorce, or y'all separated in some way. You know what I'm saying? The polygamy you probably had going on, the little polygyny, you know what I'm saying? You got three dudes on one John, you know what I mean? That's a porn category, but I don't know nothing about it. But then there's, the polyamory where it's, everybody can do anybody, you know what I'm saying? But that's a sham, man, because really, because there's going to, in that whole polyamory thing, there's going to be some John you're going to like over the other ones, and you're probably going to stick with her more than you stick with the other ones you're dealing with, and then vice versa. If you're a woman, there's going to be that dude whose dick game is better than all the dicks. You know what I'm saying? So you're probably going to gravitate towards him more than other people. You know what I'm saying? So that shit is kind of, I don't know anybody that would really put everybody equally in a life like that and have sex with them like that. There's always that one who's digging you out better or juicing you better than the rest. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? But getting back to what I'm trying to tell you, any of these relationships could be soulmates. But the twin flame, I'm trying to help you narrow it down. That twin flame is that person who is the direct reflection of who you are. And they're going to be the opposite gender. Because again, you chose to be a boy in this life, so your twin flame has to be that girl. You know what I'm saying? Because why would your twin flame be another dude? That if I'm a dude, that don't make sense. I chose to be a dude in this life, a man, a male. I have a dick, I have a ball. So why would my twin flame be somebody with dick and balls? No. The other half of you is the feminine. For me, it's the feminine that I did not become. That would be my twin flame. And then vice versa. There's going to be a lot of vice versas in this life. Vice versa, if you're a woman, you chose to come here with vaginas and tits. So your twin flame is going to be the male who has dick and balls. Because that's sex. Because people don't understand what sex is. Because sex itself, the word, the etymology of that word means section. It comes from sect, section, meaning you are part of the whole. So when they say, what is your sex? You're telling someone you're part of the whole. I'm male. I'm the male part of that whole. Or she's the female part of that whole. And then you got all these other genders that they coming out with, for the 2000s, the 2020s, you know what I'm saying? Where, they make up a gender every like year or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They make up a new one. But traditionally, and what it still stands, you either male or female. You know what I mean? You do have the hermaphrodite, but how frequent is that? You know what I'm saying? How frequent is that? Do you know a hermaphrodite personally? You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, you can go on YouTube and or internet and see that stories on that. But I'm saying, like, do you know anybody personally that has both genitals? And then if they do have both genitals, are they Do they lean more towards feminine or masculine? Or do they play both? You know what I'm saying? They do both. And I'm not talking about bisexual people. That's not a hermaphrodite. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's how you find that out. So you got all these, people on the internet or people that think they so spiritual and new age, they don't even know this word syzygy. Let me pull it back up. This is a part of your biology right here. And it's an abstract that, it helps you understand what sexuality is all about. So if you're engaged with someone sexually, you are completing the circle. You know what I mean? You're one half dealing with another half, the female dealing with the male. This is the principle of gender and the whole, you know what I'm saying, alchemical hermetic laws of the universe. You have a male and a female, right? So syzygy, this goes all the way back. Again, we're refreshing. This goes all the way back to the first time you was a fertilized zygote, a single cell organism. That's why microbiology is something I'm always talking about, because this is where you started in the physical. You wasn't no full-fledged human being at the time of conception. You was a microorganism. You was a microbe. So this is why the importance of studying microbiology is that you're studying your origin. Hence Sankofa, regenesis, and all that thing. But that's another day. That's another topic. You know what I'm saying? But I'm helping you to try to narrow that down. Like if you was ever interested in trying to figure out who might be your other, the other part of the syzygy. So twin flame is based on the concept of syzygy. Not only is it biological or microbiological, it's innate in your being. Now you do have myths where I forgot what myth it was, if it was Greek or Roman. It might have been Greek, or is probably older than that, and we don't know. Or it could be older, much. It could be a part of existence itself. So we can even put it there. But I know there's a Greek myth where we were once beings where we was male and female. We was the hermaphrodite. You know what I'm saying? And we were joined at the spine, I guess. Like you had one side was the male and the other side was a female. They even try to corroborate this by saying that, your mother has two titties, you know what I'm saying? And why would she have two when it's only you being born? Now I can see about that if you had twins or triplets or more kids than that, you was giving birth to them like that, like in a sense of like a cow or a dog or a pig, where you have like 7 or 8 or even more, babies, and they all need to get that milk out of you, so you have multiple nipples. But the female traditionally has two nipples. So why two nipples? And most kids are born just by themselves. You know what I'm saying? What happened? So now the whole point of the twin flame thing, again, syzygy, is about you being able to bring back that whole. Simple and plain. Because what I was also thinking while I was going through this twin flame understanding is that, why would you ever want to date somebody outside of your twin flame? Why would you want to be with anybody else? This person is literally your other half, but you're choosing to go beyond him or her to deal with other people who are not your other half. There may be soulmates at best. You know what I'm saying? And you know that. You probably, what I'm saying, you innately know it, but some part of you is like, oh no, it ain't gonna work. Oh no, I want to go somewhere. He's not or she's not who I envision my partner to be. So now we can also get into this where we're dealing with Mr. Right and Mrs. Right and our idealistic partner, right? Because I'm pretty sure you have an idealistic partner, that person or that opposite sex member who needs to fit all these criteria for you to be with them. So you think this person, for the most part, a lot of, especially women, he has to have all this money. He has to have his shit together. He has to be driving this. He has to be in this tax bracket. He has to have a degree. You know what I'm saying? He has to have all these things checked for you to be his wife. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think shit really works for like that on the deepest level or depthable level of this understanding. You see, if you're a woman, that male half of you is the completed part. It's the part of you that completes you and is a direct reflection of you. So you have these egoistic ideals of how that man should be. It's like might not be like that. What if he was a bum on the street? Your twin flame is a bum on the street. Ain't got two pennies to rub together to feed himself or anybody else. You know what I'm saying? He a crackhead in some trap house down in ATL. That's your twin flame. Are you ready to accept that? Because you thinking he's supposed to be this, charming, you know, square chinned, executive at some company. He got all his money, he got all these, what I'm saying, cars or whatever. It's a very materialistic, vain and vanity laced look at who you're supposed to be with or who your other half is. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And the flip side is also true. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, like I would think that the idealistic woman is someone who's, she got a bazanging body, she got ass, she got tits, you know what I mean? She got pretty smooth, perfect feet, you know what I mean? Her vagina don't stink, like, you know what I mean? That's what I want. But hey, maybe that's not who that twin flame for me is. Maybe she's a thought box. You ever thought of that? If you a dude out here, your twin flame is a thought box. She got ran out by like 3, 4 dudes. She out here, um, you know, sharing her vagina, but not her money. You know what I'm saying? You ever been a woman like that? She'll share her vagina, but not her money. She ain't giving you $1. She'll give you the ass, but she ain't giving you no money. But this is the thing. When it comes to this spiritual thing, right? All that shit go out the window because these are things that are physically a part of who we are. We're not perfect people. You're not a perfect person. So what makes you think that your twin flame is going to be perfect too? Or perfect? You know what I'm saying? What makes you think that? So you have a list, like, because I know a lot of women do this. They have a list of all the attributes that their ideal man or perfect man should have for them to be able to want to be with him, right? That's some bullshit. Because I'm betting you 10 times out of 10, you're making that list based off of what you see in society and what you have been programmed by movies, TV, news, and all these different things, school, anything. Your family members, your mom, all them, they have, you know what I'm saying? You're building your list off of that. Which, like I said, that's kind of questy. That's foolish. Because I even try to do that with women, like trying to say that they got to be this, and that. And it's like, nah, you got to kind of let that go. You got to burn that. You got to let that bitch fly in the breeze. You got to let that fly off. It's not going to help you. It's only going to hinder you in understanding who that other half of you actually and truly is. We like, for example, dealing with Carl Jung, his shit, his whole conceptualization of all that. Like, for example, if you not familiar with Carl Jung's work, he dealt with the animus and the anima, which directs, or excuse me, connects directly to what I'm talking about when it comes to syzygy. So for a man, I have an anima, which is the female side of who I am. And then as a woman, you have what's called what he said, you have an animus, which is the male side of who you are. So what makes you think you won't be confronted or have to confront this opposite gender part of who you are? Because again, it goes back to your birth. You chose to be one or the other for the most part. You chose to be a girl, so your other half has to be a dude. That's the male part of you. You know what I'm saying? We're talking, if you want to talk physically, we're talking about someone whose genitals are different than yours, obviously having a dick. And then, they having hormones and proteins and everything that makes them into a guy or a dude. You have the potential for that in you. It's in your genetics. So this twin flame of yours is actually a part of your genetics. It's the other body that your genetics is sharing. Now, some people say, twin flames are sharing the same soul. I'm not totally certain on that, but when it comes to the genetic side of things, and you can also get into wave genetics, yes, that at least on that part, because it would be more incorporated and threaded into who you are more than even your soulmates that you have. And then also understanding that, you have a sperm cell that came from a male and you have an egg cell that came from a woman. So your father and mother. Now, this also brings in the concept of, and this is something where I first understood this by reading the Tibetan Book of the Dead, or the Bardo Thodol, the Tibetan Book of the Dead. That's what they started calling it for the English people, Tibetan Book of the Dead. So in that book, what I'm saying, I recently reread that whole book, or re-listened to it. There's the whole ebook is on YouTube, or the audio book, where it says that, you trying to come into a new incarnation, you get attracted to the sex that you see happening on the, physical plane. So if you are trying to come here as a woman or a girl, you're going to be attracted to the male in that sex union. You know what I'm saying? And reason that you may be attracted to this guy or this father over having that father or this father or that father or that father is that this particular guy that's, juicing your, future mom, juicing the shit out of her too. You know what I'm saying? Hitting it from the back. mm, He may be most like your twin flame. That's why you chose to come through him and let him be your dad. Mhm. So that whole list you got, my love, for the women out there, that whole list you got of the perfect man. I think you need to throw that one out and look more towards your father for clues about who your twin flame is. Just for what I'm saying. I think you need to do that. And like I said, the Tibetan Book of the Dead is talking about this. You know what I'm saying? So that also leads into understanding, sometimes people say that, you grow up to marry your own mother or you grow up to marry your own father. You know what I'm saying? But it's not that clear cut, because, your father isn't, or your mother and your father aren't the only figures in your early life. You have uncles, you have cousins, aunties, grandma and grandpa. These are other characters, or and it goes back into my character line thesis. These are other people in your early life where, you probably had some connection with them, and then it's further expressed when you get into the realm of dating and relationships. You know what I'm saying? Intimate relationships. So you, like, for example, you may be a woman who, this is your dad, but you could probably marry some guy that reminds you of your grandfather, or even your brother, or even your stepfather, you know what I'm saying? Or even your uncle or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know on the flip side, for me, I know I've dated women who, there were some that were like my mom, there were some that were like my stepmom, my aunt, my grandmothers, just like them, splitting images of them. You know what I'm saying? Splitting and do the same shit. So it's like, for me, if I was, let's say I was raised by one of my grandmothers, you know what I'm saying? I would have that soul connection with my grandmother on that sense. Not a sexual thing, but just like, we were together, and she had love for me, I had love for her. And then you can go into your adult life looking for that love in another woman. So now this woman that comes into your life, you came into hers, she could just be a splitting image of your grandmother instead of your mom. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about when it comes to character line thesis. But going back to, the Bardo Thodol, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, again, that could be a possibility. Like, you wanted to deal with this person as your father because he is a match to who your twin flame is like. And the same for me. Like, if I'm sitting here about to come back into the physical, it's like I'm going to pretty much look for the woman who is just like my twin flame, or my excuse me, my other half. And that provides the context of how your other half is going to be. And I experienced that. So I'm not just telling you what I read out of a book or on somebody's website or what I heard on someone's YouTube channel. No, I experienced that. And I should have known that that twin flame would be just like that, just like my mom in that sense, because again, that's who I came here. That's why I was attracted to that person to be my mother. She provided the pre-context for how that twin flame was going to be towards me, how she's going to act, how she's probably going to look, the name she's going to take, all that. So imagine having some sort of unresolved issues with your mom, your mother. Guess what? Those same issues are going to show up in that twin flame relationship. Yep. And on the flip side, vice versa. I say we're going to say flip side and vice versa this whole, live. If you have problems with your dad, guess what that twin flame is going to be like? So you can imagine where, a twin flame relationship not working out because you have either one or both people in that relationship, they still have issues with their mother or father. You see that? So this is going towards the darker side of that whole twin flame thing because they like to romanticize it, right? They like to think it's the most beautifulest thing in this world. You know what I mean? They be on that shit, but they don't really like getting into like the darker side of that shit. Because if the John hate her dad, then and you are splitting image of her dad, I mean, what you think she gonna act like towards you? She got daddy issues and are projecting them onto you, and vice versa. You have mommy issues, you're gonna project it onto her. So where do you think it's gonna go? Like, of course, it's gonna be fucked up. And those issues, mommy, daddy issues. I mean, if you want to get into, the idea that you was incarnated in past lives, you know, what if you had a problem with this twin in past lives and these problems are still kind of chasing y'all into this incarnation? That's if that's something you want to believe, because I know there's people that don't believe in that or even co-sign that. But just as a possibility, if that's a part of your reality, you know what I mean? I mean, they even have movies like The Fountain and what other movies where they explore that concept of you going through, like, you and this person going through several lifetimes. Y'all keep coming back together in each lifetime. Each lifetime, y'all keep running into each other, keep meeting up, keep one goes to the other, one goes to it's just over lifetimes. You know what I'm saying? They kind of explored that in the movie, just a little bit in the movie Bram Stoker's Dracula. But in that sense, Dracula, he wasn't in a, saying in a new incarnation. He was this, he's immortal. So he was in the same body throughout. But his woman died in one of his lifetimes, like in, like 14th century. But then she reincarnated in like the 18th century. But he was still alive, obviously, because he's Dracula, right? So they keep running into each other. You know what I'm saying? This is one thing about the twin flame. You can try to get away from a soul bait. You ain't getting away from the twin flame. Now, y'all can physically split. You can be on physically different sides of the world, never talk to each other or never talk to each other again, whatever. You can never escape your twin flame. That's a part of who you are. What makes you think you're going to outrun him or her? You can't. It's a part of you. You know my slogan. Wherever you go, there it is. You can't run. How you gonna run from something that's in you? Type of shit is that? It's stitched into your fucking fabric of your existence. You can't outrun that. You can't avoid that. It's going to confront you. So this is where I was saying, like, going back to character line thesis. Even if I was your twin flame, Miss Ma'am, and you don't want to deal nothing. You don't want to deal nothing with me. You don't want to call me. You don't want to text me. You don't want to do nothing. Do you honestly think you will not be ever confronted about that ever again? Do you honestly believe that? Because there's no way for me to believe that because I still keep dealing with people in that line to this day. I've talked about this before. I don't have a problem repeating it. I could get rid of this woman and then someone in her place will take her place. Same type of woman, same everything. It's like a matter of weeks, even days. I can block this bitch out my life. The same type of woman will take her place in some way. Whether I meet her somewhere, she comes to me. You know what I'm saying? Because you can have a situation where you come to a person in their life. It's not where y'all meet up. It's where she's pursuing you, or you're pursuing her, or you're pursuing him, and or he's pursuing you. Because how would you know that's your twin flame? You wouldn't know until y'all start, asking questions and dealing with each other and knowing this and knowing that about each other. You wouldn't know. And then there's the omens that then go on to confirm what y'all are suspecting or what y'all kind of sensing about each other. So even just like, for example, if I'm dealing just with my mom, for example, again, I can be over the course of my life, I can deal with 40 women that are just like her. So I get rid of one comes in. Get rid of that one comes in. Get rid of that one comes in. Get rid of that one comes in. Why? Because these women are here to reflect that feminine side of who I am. Regardless if I like them, I love them, I hate them, I want to spit on their face, it don't matter. They're here to reflect that issue that you have with your mom. And then by extension, that other female half of who you are. And on the flip side, for the umpteenth time, for a woman, it's the same with you. You know what I'm saying? That's how that works. Now, that doesn't mean that these new people in that line are going to be like, you're going to date them or have sex with them or anything. It does. That's not what it means. It means you have to confront them or they are going to confront you. And it doesn't matter where it's at. It can be at your job. It can be at the club. It can be on the road. It can be at a hospital. It doesn't matter. Because a lot of these events that happen in our lives are for the introduction of these relationships. Because think about, like, for example, if you did a ritual to get more money, like you did a ritual for wealth, you did a ritual to, secure some funds or to acquire a car, or a house, whatever you're doing magically, you know what I'm saying? Pay attention to who's a part of that, who's a part of you getting the house or the car or the money. So you just focus on the money. No, it's probably someone you have to deal with to get that money. And that person could be somebody that is going to keep confronting you based on your other half. I know I've had jobs before where it's like, the boss or, I even work for temp agencies. Like the woman was just like my mom. Oh shit. Or just like my stepmom or just like my grandmom or something like that. But yeah, like that could be a possible. I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen with you, but it could be a very, probable possibility that, you can approach your twin flame or you can meet them somewhere. Doesn't mean you're going to be with them for the rest of your life. They may not be ready for something like that. You know what I'm saying? And see where I went wrong was that I was ready for it. She wasn't. Or he could have been, or she could have been ready for it, and maybe I wasn't. You know what I mean? Just somebody that sat here and served you coffee at Starbucks. That person could be your twin flame and you don't know it yet. Or that person that you had got into a car crash with, you know what I'm saying? Or your next door neighbor. It could be this girl that, maybe she was a little geek. She had braces and she had thick ass glasses and, she was just a weirdo. 30 years later, y'all start talking. She probably looked better than what she was when she was a kid, but you find out that, oh, you're the other half of who I am. Now, again, I'm not here to romanticize that anymore because I think in my journey, I started romanticizing it, like, thinking of sun walks on the beach and flowers and, you know what I'm saying? All types of, shit that you see in like movies like The Notebook or something like that. Women love that movie. You know what I'm saying? These overly romanticized situations. And none of that shit could actually be in your fucking cards. You know what I'm saying? Or in your narrative. Like it could be something completely different. But here is something else I want to kind of introduce to you or deal with. I already said it, so it's not really introduction, but dealing with this idea of or the concept of Hieros Gamos, which literally means sacred marriage. Because gammy, you ever seen gammy in the words like polygamy or monogamy, like that? Gamy means marriage. And the word also extends into gamete. So a sperm cell and the egg cell are called gametes. So it comes from the same root gamos, meaning marriage. Because the sperm cell, your father is supposed to marry the egg cell or the ovum of your mother. You know what I'm saying? That's why they're called gametes. It's about a marriage. These two cells are supposed to marry each other, and they become the complete zygote, which becomes you, right? Or at least on the physical side. So this whole thing of Hieros Gamos or herogamy is sacred marriage. Now, this is the true reason to be dealing with twin flames because what you are supposed to be doing a sacred marriage with your twin to become complete. So I don't know if you've ever been married before. You've been engaged. I've been engaged before. I've never been married though. But you can be engaged to somebody who ain't even your twin flame. And that can be very well what it's supposed to be. However, if both of you are inclined on the occult level or spiritual level or the esoteric level, then this is something you need to be getting into. Sacred marriage or the chemical marriage or the alchemical wedding. These are all terms that are in alchemy. And then you also see the iconography or the illustrations in alchemy where, I've said this before, where you have a body and you have a female and a male's head on the same body, or you have it split down the middle. So it's half female body and then it's half male body. You know what I'm saying? It's called a rebus, Rebis, rebus. That's what you and your twin flame, if y'all are so inclined in this lifetime to do, is supposed to achieve. So this is something that I was prepping myself and readying myself for. I wanted this, but that other half did not, especially at that time, or namely at that time. Could it change in the future? Perhaps, perhaps not. But this ritual of Christ being, Jesus Christ being baptized in the Jordan River, I think it's the Jordan River. This is all alchemy. This has nothing to do with some white dude with the long hair, and has nothing to do with that. Because even if you're not going to do the twin flame marriage, you're still kind of tasked with the process of marrying the female in you. So whether that physical twin flame is here with you or not, or with you or want to deal with you or not, you're still supposed to do this whole process of this is what the basis of tantra is. They keep making tantra about all these sexual positions and Kama Sutra and all this shit. Is like, no, this is the tantra right here, the sacred marriage. You know what I mean? Yeah, Jordan River. I was correct. So the motive of Hieros Gamos in Jesus's baptism in the Jordan River and in the Jewish Kabbalah. So for those of you that are in the Kabbalah, you into that type of Jewish mysticism and stuff like that, Hebrew thing. This is here. It's right here in your face. So it's all about the female god and female goddess and the male god joining forces. It's what's on my book. This is what you're supposed to be doing. In fact, this yin yang symbol is a perfect understanding of the Hieros Gamos. So let's say the white is the the male, and the black is the female, right? So in the female or the male, there's a piece of the female. In the female, there's a piece of the male. Principle of gender. So this is really a symbol of your zygote as well. That fertilized zygote in which you became a fetus in your mother's womb and then became, you know what I'm saying, the multicellular thing that you are today. Is right here in this yin yang. So you can even see or look at it as, you know, the white being the sperm or the genetics of your father in within that sperm cell, and then, you know, the ovum or the egg, the genetics of your mother, all swirled around into one thing. Ain't it cool that they already had these things set up where you don't have to think too hard about them? You know what I mean? So having gone through the experience of twin flaming, again, it was a ride. It was a ride. It was an up and down ride. It was the craziest. Was it? I remember. What was the last time I've been to Six Flags? It's like Nitro. Nitro is my favorite ride at Six Flags. Great Adventure. I'm from Jersey, so it was like that. You know what I mean? What's that song? What's her name? Vivian Green. Emotional roller coaster. Loving you was never healthy for, or something. She said something like that. But that's exactly what the fuck that was. You know what I'm saying? Because again, if you both of y'all coming into the situation and y'all still got those parental issues or these ideas of who you think the perfect man for you should be. No, there's parts of you that go against your ego mind. So you thinking in your ego mind, you deserve this. No, but you deserve him. You know what I mean? Or my nigga, that's the other half of you right there. You need to jump on that. You know what I mean? Because what does your reflection do for you? Show you who the fuck you are and what you've been avoiding about yourself. That's what he's supposed to do. That's what she's supposed to do. You think you're going to avoid that or evade that or sidestep that or escape that? There's nowhere for you to go but inward. You know how the new ages go. You got to go within. Within. Which really means on an esoteric level, dealing with these other unexplored territories of your being or mind. You know what I mean? That you keep within or that you ignoring or that you're not seeing right now. Or that you're trying to sidestep when it confronts you. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nothing like you ignoring, like for example, you probably have a flaw. What's the flaw you can have? You're a controlling son of a bitch, right? Wouldn't it be funny if you were confronted by someone who is just as fucking controlling as you? Wouldn't that be a doozy? Like it's something you deny because you've been, you know, accused of it before. But now this John comes into your life to reflect that about you. Ain't that some shit? Now, how you going to deny it about you now? That's what projection is. It's like you're trying to divide yourself from some part of you, and then you're putting it on other people. It's not even just in no twin flame situation. It's any relationship. You know what I mean? Like if you're a dirty, trifling, good for nothing type of sister, okay, well, let's see what happens when you meet a dude or a brother who's just like you. Dirty, trifling, good for nothing type of brother. It ain't just men, it's women too. That's why I don't really play the gender war out here. It's a lot of people playing the gender war where it's like they want to attack all men or attack all women. It's like, nah, it's a one big ass toxic humanity. What you mean? It's just a man or it's just a woman? No, it's all of us. What you mean? What you talking about? Talking about toxic masculinity or toxic femininity? No, nigga, toxic humanity. Toxic humanity. Don't let these women out here try, you know, play innocent with you. Nasty bet. You know what I'm saying? Nasty bet. Dirty trifling. What's that mean? From that movie, Waiting to Exhale, McKelty Williamson. Say, you raggedy bitch. You know what I'm saying? Because they like to paint that picture that they ain't raggedy. It's like, no, I've lived with women my whole life. I know how raggedy you can be. Trust me. And on the flip side, you know how raggedy niggas could be. Your dad could be that raggedy nigga. Your brother, your cousin, your uncle, you know. Let's just stop trying to fool each other about who we are. Stop trying to be deceptive and lying. You know what I mean? Keep it real, love. You keep it real with me, I keep it real with you. Loving your whole steez and me in there, boo. On top of that, you got that good power, you. And like I said, relationships have up and downs, like the roller coaster ride. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of propaganda out here, man. Let me tell you. Raggedy bitches and niggas, man. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Characters out here. Let me tell you. Characters. But going back to twin flames, like I said, man, like I said, your situation can be completely different from what I've explained about mine. You know what I'm saying? I just know that, with those level of omens I was getting and synchronicities with that person, it was undeniable. You can only be in denial. You know what I'm saying? Which that's what I was seeing. It was a lot of denial in there. It's like, nah, you can be in denial, but you ain't about to sit here and completely reject it. You can't reject it. It's as you know what I'm saying? Because both of us were getting the synchronicities. Both of us was figuring this out. Both of us was getting the omens. So after all that's said and done, you can't. What you going to deny it now? What you going to act like that it ain't what it is? The fuck out of here. You know what I mean? And let me tell you this one too. Just because that person is your twin flame does not mean that they are above hurting you or trying to get at you. That's another thing. That's a whole nother fucking can of worms, my nigga, where someone that's supposed to be the other half of you is out here trying to attack you, ghost you. Hell, it could even get deadly. I'm pretty sure it has happened in human history before. You know what I'm saying? No, like I said, they be on these websites talk romanticizing this shit. It's like, nah. You know what I mean? Again, this person could have a problem with their mom or dad and then project it onto you. So if the John want to kill her dad, or what I'm saying, you could be the victim of that. Because what you're doing with each other is you're evoking parts of each other that only I guess y'all two can provoke each other on that, or at least those in those lines. You know what I'm saying? Because who knows what what I'm saying, what a person experienced with their mom and dad. You know what I'm saying, when they at least when they tell you, you know what I mean. There are neglectful parents. There are abusive parents. There are verbally and emotionally abusive parents. There are parents who put one child above the other, playing favorites and shit. So you could have lived in that household, you know what I mean? And took all that garbage with you throughout the rest of the parts of your life. You feel me? Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. And who you fought, you know what I'm saying? Some people have fought their parents in some way, you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily, it could be physical, it could be mental and emotional too. But again, and then also, also going back to the Carl Jung thing, something I also read about, what he was into was the level of who you're dealing with as you go out through your life if you're developing yourself mentally and spiritually. So, for example, as a man, on the most bottom level of my being, I'm always going to sit here and see attractive women. I'm seeing ass, I'm seeing tits, I'm seeing thighs, I'm seeing hips, seeing lips, I'm seeing tongues, you know what I'm saying, with the ring in them. I'm seeing it. But that's the lower level of my being. I'm only attracted to what she looks like physically, right? But then you go up a level. So now it's not just about what she looks like, it's maybe what is her conversation like. So maybe she can look good, she can look a little on the 6'5" side, you know what I'm saying, but her conversation is the bomb. So it's a little bit more intellectual now. So now you're looking for women that's intellectual, like they read books, they into Shakespeare or something like that. Then you go up a little level, and then it's like, well, I don't really care about looks and uh, her mind that much or thinking that much. Now I'm looking for a woman that is going to match me politically, on the level of my politics. So now I'm looking for a woman who is probably the same ethnicity or she's the same skin color and she's into the same politics. So, for example, if I was pro-black, I want a pro-black woman. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter who it is, as long as it's a pro-black woman who's on the same political page as I am. Then higher than that, you're on the spiritual level now. So now the woman that you're looking for is your other half. So regardless of how she looks, how she thinks, or what her political level is, or her political pages, or her political stance is, it's all beyond that now. Now you're dealing with trying to get a woman, or it's not even you trying to get the woman now. Because I'm like, if y'all two meet at the same juncture, she's not chasing you, you're not chasing her. That's the meeting. That's the meeting. Take it from your boo. I study this stuff. Wrote books on this, wrote my book, you know what I mean? Take it from me. And then, like I said, it's the same on the female side, flip side, vice versa. So for a woman, she just sees muscular. She only wants to deal with muscular, big dick dudes. If they don't have the dick print and they ain't muscular and they ain't handsome, she don't want nothing to do with it, right? Then a step above that, she only wants to deal with men who got money. So he has to have money. He has to have $100,000 in the bank. He has to be a millionaire. He has to own this house, own these cars. He has to have all this property because she wants to be financially secure. Next level, she's not worried about those two things. Now, again, it becomes political. I want a man who, let's say the woman is like, she's Jewish and she's into politics or whatever. So she wants a man who's also into those politics that she's into. Because now it's a group, it becomes a group dynamic. She wants to be a part of her, she wants to feed into her political identity. Like I said, with me being a man, she wants that same type of guy. Then all the way at the top, when she's developed herself to that level, now she is sitting here waiting for the perfect time where she meets with the guy who's her twin flame. So this is why I have no problem right now in my life that I'm not dating anybody or not dealing with anybody. For a couple reasons. For one, I see a lot of dudes complaining about women and who they are, and I'm like, because of the spiritual level that I'm on, I don't run into those women anymore. I don't run into them. We have no business with each other. I'm on a level where this John is not at. So we'll never meet in anywhere where we would become lovers or sex partners. None of that. We have no business with each other. She's on, based on her level, she still wants men with big dick, handsome, and got money. She'll never come across me until she's ready to come across somebody like me. So I never have woman problems anymore. You know what I mean? You see how that works? You see the intricate designs and fucking workings in that? I don't have that problem anymore. Because I'm not going to go to the club and try to find my bride or find someone to smash. I'm not on that level with y'all no more. Some of y'all are still on that level. Even in the conscious community thing, you still on that level. You're not exempt just because you're a part of this subculture. You're not exempt from this shit. Because you can still be in the conscious thing and looking for women that, who are sexual like that. Those tea drinking yoga mat chicks, you know what I'm saying? They freakier than, the average woman. You know what I mean? You could be after that and don't even know that about yourself. I don't run into them either. No, thank you, love. No, thank you. Because again, the level that I'm on, I don't run into them. Because you got to go where they go. You got to go to the club. You got to go to the strip club. You got to go to the yoga meetups. You know what I'm saying? But on this level of where you're trying to get in tune with that feminine side in you, or if you're a woman, you're trying to get in touch with that masculine in you, you will meet that person and you there will be no prior warning. You won't even be thinking about it. It just happens. It's like a schedule. It's like a time that is going to happen. You don't know it. You have no idea if that's going to happen in this lifetime. Because I'm pretty sure there's people who have twin flames around here, and they'll never meet them, or one dies before you can meet them. So your twin flame probably dead right now, cuz. I don't mean to be grim or nothing like that, or melancholic or anything. That could be. That could be. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as age is concerned, like, because you got young women with older men, you got older women with younger men. You know, I was in a situation where she was older, so not too much older, but definitely older. But that could be a feature. That could be something that can happen. You know, like some of y'all that's on these dating websites, or you use Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as a dating website. Yeah, that's you. I can see it on your forehead. I can see it because your forehead is like a fucking screen, TV screen, and I can see it broadcasting at you. You got a 5 head, you got an IMAX screen head. I can see that. You know what I mean? That's what's going on. So imagine the deception out here. Like you see somebody that they sound conscious, they look conscious, they be on some thoughts, they show you some spiritual stuff, but realistically and within themselves, they're not really fully developed. It's all a facade. It's all a fucking, you know what I'm saying? It's a fugazi. You know what a fugazi is, right? That can be what's going on. So you meet up with the dude. I'm talking to women. You could meet up with the dude thinking he's, hey king. This nigga's he's a degenerate. He slaps and berates women. He plays with you feelings emotionally. You know what I'm saying? He went so far as to have sex with, get head from a woman right there while you was in the room. Like he's a degenerate. He got a fez on. He got, what I'm saying, he got the unk on, but he's a degenerate scumbag. Because you fell for the fucking facade. I'm not on that level with facades. I can see through the facade now with women. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these women today is like they want dominance. They want to be the dominant partner in the relationship. They want to be the man. They want to have the dick. They want to wear the pants. I have no business with that woman. We have nothing to discuss. I opted out of that. It's a current political thing, but it's not something where it's like I'm a part of it now. So I don't run into them. They don't deal with me. I'm not attracting them. They're going after you simp dudes. You know what I'm saying? They're going after y'all niggas. They know not to come over here to me because I don't give off that vibe or that fucking spirit that I'm like that. So now they preying on you little soft ass, suck up dudes like that. You know what I'm saying? I even got caught up in that a little bit. I had to pull myself back out. I almost became a complete simp, but I had pulled myself. I opted out. No, 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 thank you, man. No, no, thank you. No, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because a lot of people don't understand that, this conscious thing is a lot of people running around here in a facade. You know what I'm saying? And then you meet the real them. Off, you met up, from social media, and then you met up with them in person, and you see who they really the fuck is. You know what I mean? You fell into that fucking reality TV show they created on their social media platform. Yeah. It's depthical, man. Oh man, it's so depthical. You know what I mean? But anyway, man, I went way over an hour. I'll be trying to keep these at an hour. But I think there's enough experiential things I put out here. Like I said, I don't have a website or a book for your ass. So like I said, I just, I'll pull up this again. Deal with this word syzygy. Because that's the key word to this whole discussion, syzygy. It goes all the way back, like I said, to you being that fertilized zygote at conception within your mother's womb. Yeah, that's how far it goes back physically. But obviously, we're dealing with abstracts and spiritual and mind and whatever. So it becomes also, or it starts in the mind. It starts as an abstract. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the physical incarnation is concerned, you are that seed, that zygote within your mother's womb, and it just kept dividing and dividing and dividing, and now you're a multicellular organism. You chose to be male, you chose to be female. A very few people choose to be hermaphrodite. So if you choose to be male, you got to deal with the female, the anima. You chose to be female, you got to deal with the animus, the male party. And if there's issues there, better believe you're going to run into people who are going to show you those issues, or those issues are going to come through. So again, this is Al Akkad, author of Holography. You know what I'm saying? Get it at the website. It's scrolling across the screen right damn now. www.holographer.com/the-book. And I also want to make sure I get my patrons here. So definitely consider signing up for my Patreon, patreon.com/holography. And I want to give special thanks to, the patrons that I have here. They're scrolled across the screen. Thank you all for y'all patronage. Should have been doing this, but I didn't really have the technology to, or, know where to look to kind of do it. So I kind of like that it's scrolling across the screen there. And hopefully y'all sign up by the book, and hopefully I can help clear this whole thing about twin flames and soulmate or whatever. So again, Al Akkad, fucking love you. Fucking love you.